Call of Duty is one of the biggest franchises in gaming history. It has also completely lost its identity along the way. Let's talk about why. Okay, so real quick, I just want to spectate this game so I can get all my thoughts out there, but you know I cannot throw a gulag match. Yep, there we go. And honestly, if I can beat you in the gulag, I don't necessarily want to spectate you anyways. It's not going to be good background footage, so hopefully we can find something entertaining. But yeah, Call of Duty initially started pretty grounded, all things considered. Sure, the first few games had their over-the-top moments and played into the unstoppable soldier who changes the tide of the entire battle by himself trope, but the visuals and tone were consistently gritty and looked like something you would see in Band of Brothers or Saving Private Ryan. With the release of Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, the themes and tone of the series got cranked up to 11, but it was still based in realism with all those over-the-top antics layered on top. With each game that came after that, things escalated more and more until the point that we now have events like this going on. Don't get me wrong, I like the View Askew films as much as any millennial, and Seth Rogen is okay, I guess. I mean, I don't wish death on the guy, you know? But what is this? Why is it in Call of Duty, and how did we get here? How did the series I loved so much growing up lose its identity? And where do we even go from here? And before you click off, I know you've probably heard 1,000 videos saying that COD needs to get back to its milsim roots, but I just want to say that that is not my take, at least not completely. I don't think there's necessarily an issue with having collaboration skins, and I'm not going to be someone who is going to sit here and rant about all the weed references in the game. Do I think they need to tone it down and pull it back a bit? Yes. We used to have a few references, like calling cards that said join ops or high command, which is subtle enough to feel like a cool in-joke. Playing as a giant pot-smoking chameleon with a bong for a gun? Come on, man. It feels juvenile and pandering, and that's before we even get into the conversation about how you can't swear in voice chat without risking a ban, but you can shoot a 12-year-old with a gun that turns their dead body into a blunt. It's just tone deaf at this point, but that's not the tangent that I wanted to get on. I want to talk about how most of the skins in this game could be good or great and would bring in all the money that the literal greed demons at Activision need to sustain their existence in this realm. And maybe if we do it right, I wouldn't feel embarrassed to tell people that I met in real life that I play this game. And that's another thing. Somebody else's skin in the lobby shouldn't take me out of my gaming experience, you know? And that's how I feel with a lot of the skins in the game today. But all of this is not to say that we can't have fun, you know? I think that a lot of people get that confused. Sure, there are some people that really like the grounded, realistic military skins. But as long as it fits the fantasy of the game, which is really a action movie genre fantasy, people won't complain. Players want to be a badass looking soldier. Sometimes that is super realistic, sometimes that is a Viking warrior, sometimes that's the goddamn Terminator. I think the misconception is that COD was this super grounded, realistic game, when that has never really been the case, at least since the first Modern Warfare game. Sure, it was dealing with war and espionage and all that stuff, but it always approached these topics through the lens of an action movie blockbuster that your dad would probably watch whenever it happened to show up on TV. In multiplayer, teams were aligned with the in-game factions, making it so that every match felt like you were playing out a mission that aligned with the theme and narrative of the game. Everything felt tonally cohesive, even if it was just some shit you would see out of a Michael Bay film. It was a great way to build every game commentator's favorite buzzword, immersion. And I just feel like we don't really have a chance to build that immersion, get sucked into the game anymore. It's funny because as the years have gone by, as the devs have gotten more skills and better tools, the games are more detailed and should be more immersive. But then I am trying to capture a flag and I look over and see Nicki Minaj and Cheech Marin or something, and I am instantly taken out of the experience. It's crazy. Like when I'm about to load into a Warzone map, trying to plan out my drop on the TAC map, But then I look over and see some goofy shark or bulldog chimera hybrid in my squad. I almost get secondhand embarrassment, which I know is rich coming from the guy who usually is wearing a Michael Myers skin, but still. And why is that? Why do I have such adverse reactions to the memeier skins in Call of Duty when I also play Fortnite, which has way more skins that some might classify as goofy or cringe? I think at the end of the day, it's all about tone and context. Fortnite is clearly marketed towards kids. Sure, older people play it. Like, I personally am older than about 70% of the people that watch my Fortnite videos. But just because older people play it doesn't mean it's not aimed at kids. And Fortnite is clearly targeting the kid demographic. Just look at Nintendo games or Disney or something and how they have huge fan bases of grown adults, and you'll kind of see what I'm saying. Fortnite is bright and colorful, it's got this stylized cartoony feel to its characters, and everything in game feels cohesive. And that's before we even get into the lore with the loopers and how the whole multiverse works, but I'm not even gonna begin to touch that. Suffice it to say that I am willing to suspend my disbelief way more in Fortnite than I am in Call of Duty, because of how each game presents itself. I'm not going to feel weirded out having Master Chief and Princess Bubblegum and a sentient hot dog on my team in Fortnite because the tone is lighthearted and wacky. I am going to feel weird if I'm bunkered down behind cover trying desperately to plate up as Seth fucking Rogen is laughing his stupid ass laugh as he comes around the corner to execute my ass. Blood effects and all. It's not even comparable in my mind. I guess at the end of the day, I just think that people are missing the mark by saying that Call of Duty needs to go full milsim to course correct back into being the game that we used to love. Because in all honesty, that's not the game most of us fell in love with. It was more realistic, but it was still heightened realism. Action movie elevated plots that would never really happen in the real world, but we loved the story and the tone of the games all the same. That's what it was about. That's why we continued to play the game after we beat the story and try to exist in the multiplayer. We just loved being in that world, being in that reality, feeling like the action movie hero for once. And I really think we could do better at getting back towards that feeling. I think we can still have fun, make some cheeky weed references here and there, like the blunt trauma calling card, but I don't want to log in and see a new pot smoker bundle in the store every goddamn week. Just all the celebrities and goofy sizzling bacon ghillie suits and cartoon characters. It feels lame, man. That's what it comes down to. We all knew that one kid in school that smoked weed a little too young and then decided to make it his whole personality from that point on. And that's what it kind of feels like. That's what it comes down to. It just feels uncool. And when your game series has been led by the rule of cool for decades now, becoming cringe is the best way to alienate your player base. I just hope that they see the reaction that they've been getting for some of these skins and we see some of the goofy stuff reeled back going forward. I hope we get more of a focus on action heroes than pot-smoking celebrities. And most of all, I hope that someday I can tell people in my real life that I play Call of Duty without worrying about them thinking I'm some sort of weirdo or a cringe lord or degenerate or something. I don't know. That's my rant for the day. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you made it this far, thank you for watching. As always, make sure to eat well, stay hydrated, take care of yourself and those around you. And I'll see you in the next one, friends.